one of the largest exchanges in the world. FTX collapsed this week after a leaked document that raised questions about the company's finances.
The collapse of one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, FTX, was another blow to stability and confidence in this part of the financial market. The crypto empire has fallen by $30 billion since the start of January, becoming the latest in a long line of exchanges to collapse under the weight of their own leverage. But if it is just one more collapse, what's so special about FTX? What does a so-called new Warren Buffett have to do with it? And how can you lose $16 billion in a few days? We will give you a detailed tutorial in the end, so subscribe and like the video, just in case you ever need such instructions. FTX had one of the most rapid rises and downfalls the market has ever seen. It took only 3 years to go from nothing to a $32 billion company, losing everything practically overnight. Although some could have seen the prerequisites for a long time now, most investors were caught off guard. A frank, sincere, and enthusiastic figure hid everything behind his irrepressible optimism and total confidence. Genius, the future of crypto, or even a noble white knight. Sam Bankman-Fried, CEO of FTX, was conquering the hearts of investors, philanthropists, media, and common people who had nothing to do with the financial world. No one could have ever seen anything negative or even not commendable enough about him on their newsfeed. And how could they? The man pledged himself to donate all his wealth to the very last penny after he earned enough to make a change in the world.
Because he believes in the concept of earn to give.
Would you even want to question his activities? SBF, what he's commonly called, literally charmed everyone around him, including even the officials. He made sure that his created image of a good hero made it impossible for anyone to see a person prone to risk and creating illegal schemes to get even richer. He became a star of podcasts and conferences and attached great importance to media popularity. The growth of FTX was based on this cult of personality that Fried was building, and he understood it well. Hundreds of millions were invested in marketing. In July, he invested in media startup Semaphore, getting a chance to influence his media image. $135 million was spent only on renaming the Miami Heat's team stadium after the company's initials. The list of, how it seemed, unreasonable investments could be endless. All of this blinded the eyes of people and investors. The apogee of the spread of his influence was the support of the Democratic Party and Joe Biden personally. Bankman-Fried donated as much as $5 billion to support his campaign, getting an unspoken commitment from the regulator. Sam literally controlled the market. This image began to fall apart only now when the results of his activities spilled out into the public. But how did it all even start? The success story of SBF was perfect. Fast and rapid growth, popularity, approval, and big money. Except for Mark Zuckerberg, no one has ever become so wealthy at such a young age. This story began long before the birth of FTX and the head of SBF. While studying at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Sam noticed the strange and promising world of trading and cryptocurrency. However, as he would later say in an interview, he only saw it as a way to make quick and easy money, not a stable source of income. SBF did not believe in this world at all, but at this point, he knew what to do next. Having worked a few years at the Jane Street Trading Company, he decided to go further and opened his own. That is how Alameda Research was born. That is how the story started. For us, this company is like the sun in a galaxy. Our entire story revolves around it, so keep it in mind. Bitcoin was growing fast, millions were made in months, and success could not be stopped. Alameda was bringing in a lot of money, but SBF was sure he could earn even more than miserable millions. The problem was that the company was not attractive to venture capitalists. Even with a 100% annual return on investment, trading firms had never been popular, even the ones bringing in a lot of money. SBF complained about the uselessness of exchanges, which couldn't process the number of Bitcoin transactions he wanted to conduct. But can anything stop a genius on his way to success? Sam solved the problem pretty quickly, opening a whole new level for both himself and his trading firm. And he did it in a very elegant and refined way, which seemed to everyone at the time to be genius and his ultimate claim for greatness. In a single year, he raised enough money to open his exchange, which was to become one of the biggest in the crypto world later. Let's be honest, it really was genius. Now, SBF had his platform, which was designed specifically for the needs of his trading activities. His hands were completely untied. He could conduct financial operations whenever he wanted to. At the same time, the own token of the exchange was created, FTT. This is crucial, so keep it in mind. To interest future customers, an unusual niche was chosen. FTX operated as a professional exchange for the sale and trading of crypto derivatives. For anyone unfamiliar with the terminology, a derivative is an agreement on the transfer of assets, in our case cryptocurrency, within a set time at a price that was determined in advance at the time of the agreement. By using such contracts, the parties try to protect themselves from possible price fluctuations over time. No matter how the price changes, the transaction will be carried out at the price specified in the contract. This type of trading has become quite popular due to its efficiency. Unlike contracts for other traded commodities, crypto derivatives are not a physical asset and therefore don't need to be moved when buying/selling and can be used for speculation. The term buy and sell are only fictitious. What matters are two sides, the one who believes the asset's price will rise and the other who believes the price will fall. A common trading concept. And by the way, this is precisely what Friedman's first company, Alameda, was engaged in. They didn't even buy crypto assets, but simply bet on their growth. Bitcoin was growing, and everyone was confident that it would continue to grow, so they used these tools. Can you remember any similar situations? However, demand creates supply. The exchange received huge contracts from traders, which allowed it to earn a lot from commissions, from 0.005 to 0.07% of the total amount of the contract. Thanks to this strategy, in just 2 years, the company managed to become the fourth largest crypto exchange in the world, competing with the giants like Binance and Coinbase. And of course, the problem with investors was fully settled. The ambitions of the young talent truly shocked the entire economic community. And in this kind of business, it's everything.
It is everything.
Venture investors were literally queuing to invest in FTX. Since its launch in May 2019, the company has attracted nearly $2 billion of investments, reaching the peak of its value at $32 billion earlier this year. Tremendous growth, isn't it? The key to this was a well-designed marketing policy, created by our undisputed crypto champion. The company positioned itself not as one more in the long line of exchanges, but as the completely new one, created not for profit, but for the comfort and convenience of traders. From the very first days, the company's motto was built by traders for traders, showing how it seemed the true intentions of the owner. A simple psychological trick instilled genuine trust not only in the hearts of clients, but investors as well. For example, a respectable American venture capital company, Sequoia Capital, was completely deceived by the alleged purity of SBF's intentions. It's embarrassing to admit, but we never tried to contact Sam because we thought he didn't need us. These are the words of one of the key partners of Sequoia, showing the position of the whole company, maybe the entire crypto world at that point. SBF was considered a hero, the one who was to change everything forever. And no one knows for sure if he meant it or if it was an intentional psychological manipulation. Now that we know the background of the story, let's dig a bit deeper to find out what was happening and what went wrong in Sam's noble plans. The use of credit funds is extremely risky for normal trading operations, not to mention the highly volatile cryptocurrency market. Yes, you can increase your fortune tenfold in a matter of days. You can also get devastating losses that can often turn out to be the end of the company. Bankman-Fried was often criticized for his love of leverage, and as it turned out later, for a good reason. It was this that caused the death of Alameda and the collapse of FTX. However, against the background of the successes of the great genius, Everyone was too blinded by admiration to see the seemingly obvious facts. A clear scam was taking place behind the backs of regulators and journalists, which no one even thought of hiding. In addition, financial bubbles inflated one after the other, anticipating the imminent liquidity crisis. But wait, how can we talk about financial bubbles, scams, and risky schemes if everything is fine? Fortunately, all good things must come to an end. It's exactly what happened to Bitcoin based on which Friedman's company conducted their activities. Do you remember that huge drop back at the start of 2020? Everything began to fall apart. This is when the bankruptcies of crypto companies started. SBF did something unexpected and began to buy out troubled companies, stating the need to maintain a stable financial situation on the market and fulfill obligations to clients. He was even called the new JP Morgan and the White Knight of the crypto world for such heroism. Ironically, but obviously, his company has fallen into the same hole he was trying to pull everyone out of. Bitcoin falls, so do the derivatives of clients who thought things would go up. Hold on, but what does it have to do with FTX? Exchanges are just intermediaries and don't care what rises or falls. Well, first of all, during such upheavals, the volume trading on the exchanges decreases significantly, which usually affects the company's profit from commissions. Of course, this isn't the main issue. Do you still remember SBF's first company? Yes, Alameda, a trading company that started to lose. And not just lose, but literally go broke in a matter of days. Sam's extraordinary trading strategy backfired because now the leverage wasn't multiplying his profits, it was multiplying his losses. I hope you can recall the collapse of Terra Luna a few months ago. A lot of trading funds went bankrupt after the fall of this financial pyramid. Fried's firstborn child, however, didn't seem affected at all. That was a lie, and the company was on the edge of disaster. But SBF came up with one more genius plan. I guess now you understand the flow of thoughts the billionaire had, so to cut a long story short, yeah, he decided to cure Alameda at the expense of FTX. The first doubts about the reliability of FTX appeared after a publication on CoinDesk, a prolific news site about cryptocurrency, on November 2nd. Journalists, citing an undisclosed document, reported that about 40% of the assets of the billionaire's hedge fund are in the tokens of his stock exchange. We hope you haven't forgotten about them yet. Dependence on a specific token raises questions about the stability of the entire structure. Cryptocurrency is a very volatile thing, and any negative price change can be fatal for it. Probably everyone who followed this story is familiar with the term liquidity crisis, which this collapse had already been called. The total value of Alameda's assets was about $14 billion, of which FTT accounted for more than half. $8 billion in tokens is an extraordinary amount. This article was the first harbinger of disaster. On November 6th, the head of the rival crypto exchange Binance announced the liquidation of a package of FTX tokens with a total value of about $500 million. Whether this was a deliberate move to eliminate its fast-growing competitor, or just a skillful analysis by Binance specialists, that's for you to decide. We know that such an authoritative source's statement caused a real market panic. The token began to fall sharply against the background of its mass liquidation by traders. SBF owns almost 100% of Alameda Research and 50% of FTX, which are operating in the same market. I guess it's obvious that these companies must somehow have been interconnected. The only reason why it had never been discovered before this crisis is Sam, who, as we already said, did everything to hide all his schemes. After investigations began, public records revealed $4 billion in cash loans from FTX to Alameda. The companies tried to use their own token to cover losses from the Luna crash. The transaction was executed in the form of a loan. The exchange transferred funding in the form of customer funds and received in return collateral in the form of its tokens, which even exceeded the amount of the loan. Until this lie got leaked and the price of the tokens fell, the deal was invisible from a financial perspective. Sam saved his company and deceived everyone. Or did he? In general, large exchanges have almost no problems with returning money to clients, because they act only as intermediaries in the chain of ownership of assets, taking a certain commission for this. In this case, a liquidity crisis is impossible, because money can be returned even to all the customers at the same time, without a loss for the company. All obligations to clients are secured by their own money in the accounts of the exchange. As we now understand, FTX lost its clients' money, and that information got leaked, leading to massive withdrawals from the exchange. By November 8, withdrawals had reached $6 billion, and FTT had lost 80% of its initial price. FTX began to have serious problems with the fulfillment of obligations. At this point, the collapse became almost obvious. The exchange began to limit the withdrawal of funds, and at some point even completely stopped this process. A window of hope was opened by its Chinese competitor about the possible acquisition of FTX by Binance after thorough examination of the company. This would have provided money to cover liquidity, calming investors, and the crypto market in general. However, this hope was destroyed on November 10th, when Binance refused to buy FTX after conducting a study that confirmed traders' worst fears. After it, everything finally fell apart, and FTX declared its bankruptcy on November 11th. As a result, all the businessman's assets depreciated overnight, and he lost almost all of his remaining fortune, approximately $16 billion. His schemes played against him. Now, Bankman-Fried is in the Bahamas under government surveillance, and it's only a matter of time before the other schemes of his will be leaked as well. This time, his friendship with the government and regulators is unlikely to get him out of this situation. 2022 seemed rich in upheavals and bankruptcies of crypto projects. After each event, investors' interest in this market segment and all assets fell simultaneously. The FTX crisis was no exception. The collapse of the world's fourth largest crypto exchange was a huge shock and made everyone reconsider their views on the world of trading and investing. Only on November 8 and 9th, Bitcoin, the main cryptocurrency, fell by more than 20%. Reaching a minimum mark of $15,742 in the last 2 years against the background of the developing events with the FTX exchange. Binance went further and listed the addresses of its crypto wallets for a total of $69 billion to keep the trust of its clients. Although these are certainly positive steps towards market stability, this collapse will certainly have its consequences for a long time. The situation is very unstable because it's not known for sure which of the major exchanges carried out similar frauds, or had large stocks of tokens from FTX on their balances, which now need to be realized somehow. Most likely, this means that several new upheavals and bankruptcies are ahead of us, making the crypto market even more volatile, which will allow some to earn millions and others to lose everything. If it is to happen, will you try your luck? Write in the comments if the game is worth the candles. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the story. We would like to conclude with the words of Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao about the lessons he learned from this story. 1. Never use the token you created yourself as collateral. Do not use borrowed money if you manage a crypto exchange. Thanks for watching.